What's up, guys? I'm very excited about today's video. It's going to be on this 2006 Toyota Prius. I'm very excited to check this car out. I don't have much experience with these, and I'm excited to poke around it and show you around it. So let's go and get started. Starting per usual, the exterior. The first thing that you'll notice is that it's wearing a bra, which hopefully the paint underneath of it isn't destroyed. It's blue, and the front end's in pretty good shape. It does have fog lights. It's very cheese wedge looking. One thing that's cool about this car is it has all the aero wheel covers. It's not missing any. So many of these you see, they're missing one or more of the aero wheel covers. This one does have the smart key, the button. Bit of an ouchie right here where the previous owner backed into a mailbox. It's your fuel door. Got an interesting looking taillight. Your smart lock on the trunk here, which is pretty useful. Rear wiper that looks like it actually has a good blade on it. Nice little rear diffuser there. Tiny little exhaust pipe. The rear suspension looks like a solid beam. It's not missing any of the wheel covers. I'm so impressed by that. You see so many of these that are missing all of the wheel covers. That's the exterior. Let's move on to the interior. So that smart key I was showing you. You push the button, beeps to unlock it, and then you just grab the door handle and it unlocks it. This car's got a beige leather interior. And I think beige is the best color for leather. Beige and gray black two-tone. It's in really good shape. It's really clean. Screen in the middle. Close the door. So this screen is interesting. There's various things. This is your consumption, which I'm assuming this is real time in minutes. Nice. So this is where you can see your power flow, which I'll show more when we're driving. But engine, this is your electric motor, battery. You can see when it's charging the battery. You got two buttons on either side of the screen here. Climate, so where you can adjust your climate. Audio, where you can mess around with your audio controls. Display, where you can change the contrast and brightness. And then info, which allows you to do various things. Set your language to English, or I think that's French. Screen settings. You can change the background color. That's cool. I like that. It's cool. Got a 2-tier glove box in here. One on the dash. I mean, I guess they're both in the dash. It is a push button start, which is key fob. I'll show you that. Here's a key fob right here. Just a nice simple key fob. This is the radio here. This is not a screen. This big dark panel here But your radio is your typical, got a volume knob, seat track, AM, FM disc scan, and then your tune knob. And you've got a 6 CD changer down in here, and that's what all these lights are for. And these lights do illuminate through the little panel here, which is interesting. The shifter is interesting. It's an electronic shifter that grows out of the dashboard, and you just move it over to the left and up for reverse, and over to the left and down for drive, and then B is there, which I'm not sure what that is. I'm assuming it's engine braking. Got this steering wheel. Got radio controls on the steering wheel. Climate control on the steering wheel. HVAC controls, and then your little cruise control on the very Toyota little lever coming off the steering wheel. Then you got your wipers, turn signals, nothing unusual there. Your gauge cluster, dimmer, all your power windows, locks, mirrors. This is an interesting center console that I like. This is a second gen Prius. The third gen came out in 2010, I believe. And the third gen has a more flowing center console that comes all the way down, and there's no divide here. But I like the center console. It's got 2 cup holders that fold away. It's a nice big center console. And in the back here, for the rear seat passengers, I'll get in the rear seat in just a second, got 2 more cup holders. But it's a pretty normal interior. Up here you got sunglasses holder, and then this is your map lights, which have been replaced with blue lights, or at least this one has. Grab handles. I guess I can show you the up here in the dash, you got your fuel, got your trip, got your gear indicator off to the right there. Move it into drive, goes into drive. Move it into reverse. There's neutral. There's reverse. And then park is this button right here. And it puts it in park. But one thing that's worth noting is that if you have it in drive and you just turn it off, it automatically puts it in park, which is convenient. And you can change it between, this is how you reset your trip right here, and you can change it between miles per hour and kilometers per hour. But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and check out the back seat, because there's something cool that I want to show you that I didn't know any Prius had. So the back seat is interesting. Aside from having a ton of room back here, like just a hilarious amount of room. Like the front seat is in a comfortable position for me to sit at, and I have so much leg room and a good amount of headroom as well. And this has been replaced with a blue light. And the thing I wanted to show you that's interesting is you unzip this headrest cover, take it off, there we go. You got a TV in the back here that like folds down for some reason. And this works with the, I believe it works with this might work with the CD player in the dash or another DVD player, I'm not sure. But you can plug in, there's AV inputs, I think that's the term, I'm not sure. But you can plug a Wii into this, and you could play frickin' Wii Sports on this TV. That's so cool. And there's one in this headrest as well. I thought that was awesome. Other than the TVs, there's not really much back here. Got an armrest that doesn't have any cup holders, but that's fine because you got these two here. Yeah, then you got door panels. The build quality in here is very Toyota, which means that it's sensible and functional. See a nice layout of the dash here. I like the design of the dash in this car. I actually prefer it to the later gen. It's a very functional interior. You do have side curtain airbags in the front and probably in the back as well. Yep, side curtain airbags in the back as well. And you do have a middle seat belt. And map pockets on both sides, which is nice. All right, let's go ahead and check out the trunk. Moving on now to the trunk. The trunk I also think is interesting. There's a lot of clever things about this car, and I love it. It's large. It's quite sizable. You got a nice cover here to hide your belongings. That hooks into these nice little hooks right here. And then you got a nice mat that says Prius on it that folds away. And then this thing, which is locked down by these little screw things here. And you twist them to the right, to the left to unlock them. Or you twist this one to the left, this one to the right. And then this little thing folds up and you have a nice bin to store stuff in. And I know that there's also storage in this little compartment here. And I'm not sure if this one folds up. I don't think it does. But underneath the trunk here and the rear seat is where your hybrid battery lives. But I just think it's so clever. And you got illumination that you can turn on and off at your choosing back here. It seems very well thought out. And obviously this has a rear window defroster and a wiper. Let's check out the engine now. Not really much of a startup. The gasoline engine will come on eventually. I'm sure it will. There it is. There's the little engine. See, under the hood of this car, we got your hybrid system over here to the right, and then you over here to the left, you got the little 1.5 liter 1NZ FX 4-cylinder. The power ratings I got were 110 horsepower and 82 foot-pounds of torque. The little designation right down there, 1NZFX, and your oil dipstick. And then there's some hybrid stuff over here, some high voltage cables back there, some fluids that looks like washer fluid. Not sure what this is. There's your fuel cap. These things are very reliable. I know that these cars have a common issue where the odometer stops at 299,999 miles. And you know you're doing well when a known issue is that the odometer stops at 299,999 miles. And now all that's left to do is go drive this thing. All right, we're driving the Prius. I think these things are pretty underrated. I think these things are cool and interesting and clever. And I like them. I genuinely considered buying one when I was looking for when I was looking for the car that ended up being my shitbox. But I ended up buying them because the hybrid battery frightened me. But now I know that the hybrid battery is not a frightening thing. Speaking of the hybrid battery, I said that these things are reliable, and they are. But some of you may be wondering about the hybrid battery, and the hybrid battery in this one has been replaced. It has indeed been replaced. It was replaced by some company in Atlanta, and I'm not sure when. But the hybrid batteries on these things tend to last about 150,000 miles. And this car has 168,408 miles on it. Another thing that has broken in this car is, I believe it's the brake actuator module, something like that. Some of you more educated Prius owners will probably know what I'm talking about, but I know it is integral to the regen braking system, and it's quite a faff to replace, I've been told. But that has been replaced on this car. But the hybrid battery is not difficult to replace. There's a Chris Fix video on how to replace the hybrid battery, and I'm pretty sure you can get a reconditioned battery that's warranted for not a huge amount of money, and then replace it yourself, which is fun. This is the second Prius I've ever driven. The other one was a third gen, a 2011, that had the different center console that didn't have this hole here. And I prefer the interior of this one, to be honest with you. One thing that's interesting is this car doesn't have a backup camera, which the third gen does. I figured that this car would have a backup camera, but it doesn't. And the third gen just has more features. But the touchscreen in this one works, and the touchscreen in the third gen that I drove did not work, so. Accelerating away on electric power. If I had this as my car, literally all I would be doing is seeing how much I could drive it on just the electric motor and how much I could get out of regen. This would be a really good car for me because I deliver pizzas, and a hybrid like this with the regen braking would be excellent for that, because you're doing so much stopping that you'd be charging the battery a lot off of regen, and it would just be really good. And driving this makes me want to buy one again. And the build quality in here is pretty good. None of the materials are super high, super exceptionally good quality. There is, the door armrests are soft touch, this center console is carpeted, but the rest of it is plastic. But it's very Toyota. It's all no nonsense. It all fits supremely well, and there's no squeaks or rattles in here, and when the engine is running, there's no vibrations or anything, and it's good. Good Toyota build quality. But now we can accelerate a little bit. You can hear the little motor. That's not bad. That wasn't foot to the floor or even close to it, but it's good. It accelerates good. You know, it'll definitely keep up with traffic and merge onto the highway. The transmission is a CVT, which in this application works well. Normally I hate CVTs, but I think it works well for this. This screen here is currently showing me that I believe the electric motor is charging the battery right now, because we're kind of just coasting. And the brakes jab on quick because of regen. And that would be something I would have to get used to. You know, it's quiet in here. We're doing 50 miles an hour right now. There's a digital readout for the speed. You let off the go pedal, immediately regen starts happening. Now we're going to be pulling slight hill here. Yeah, the power is adequate. For someone like me who drives slow anyway and is generally very patient, this thing is plenty powerful. I mean, I'm used to my shitbox that has, when it was new, it probably had 145 horsepower, and some of that has to have disappeared by now. The steering seems reasonably good. It's definitely numb. I'm sure it's EPS, but I'm not certain. I would be surprised. No, this thing definitely has electric power steering. And it's definitely numb. There's definitely no feedback at all. But it's okay. It's definitely not the most direct steering rack I've ever felt. But it's not bad. So based on the way I've talked about this car, you guys can probably gather that I rather enjoy it. And that's because I do rather enjoy this car. I think it's so clever, just in terms of the packaging and the nature of it in general. I like hybrids in general. I like the fact that you can have the benefits of the gasoline motor when you need them, and you can have the benefits of an electric motor when you want them. Like the idea of sitting at a light and not idling, but still having the AC and stuff. That to me is cool. I think that's fun. And it's like auto stop start on a purely gasoline car is like a stopgap measure between a gasoline car and a hybrid. My mom has a 2019 Ford Escape that has auto stop start. And while you're sitting at a light, it shuts off, and then the AC shuts off, and it starts getting warm in the car, and it's so unrefined. But in this, because you have the battery pack to power everything, even while you're idling, your AC stays on, and everything stays on, and it's just a pleasant experience. And now we're moving, and I'm gonna floor it. Foot hard down. It goes. It's really not bad. It probably does 0 to 60 in like 10 seconds, which is good. It's probably quicker than my shitbox, to be honest with you, but it's good. It's got good power. It drives good. And I think the owner said, he told me what he was averaging MPG once, and I think he said he was averaging 52 miles per gallon, which is ridiculous, especially with the way gas prices are right now. I like it. I'm a big fan. Right now it says we're averaging 38 miles per gallon. So, should you buy a Toyota Prius? Yes. Yes, you should. If you're not even mechanically inclined, if you're willing to tackle the hybrid battery replacement yourself, try to find one of these with a bad hybrid battery, and you can get them cheap, and then you'll have a good car. I think this thing is tremendous. I'm a big fan, and I know after driving this, I'm gonna go start looking for them again, because I think one of these would be really good for my lifestyle. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. I'm happy to get some content out for you after a bit of a hiatus, and for which I apologize. I'm filming another video today, so I should expect content for the next couple weeks, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.